All right. So, hi, good afternoon, Kim, in your country, and good evening to mine. All right. So, finally, Kim, we see each other. We're going to see each other. It's been a long time. I miss you
Wait a
already.
minute. Wait. Yes, wait a minute.
Okay. All right. So, anyway, so welcome to our class, LMS BAP IELTS 4B. All right. So, today will be for this afternoon is the appointment, all right, that we discussed to have your compensation class for the classes that we've missed together, right? So while I'm waiting for you, Kim, Kim, were you able to do your homework when I told you to prepare or tell something, explain about a line graph? Were you able to do it?
Um, uh, I, I, that time I don't remember my homework, so,
Oh, all right. So how about if I ask you? All right. Because what we're going to do tonight is it would benefit you a lot when it comes to IELTS writing. Okay, so
uh,
if I'm going to ask you, what is your understanding about a line graph?
a lining graph.
Yes, what is it?
I think it's like highlight in a graph.
All right. So of course, from the word itself, right? So it is a line graph. So it is a graph that shows lines, right? Okay. So, what is your understanding about it? How about this? Do you think that we can use any kind of graph in any situation? Like, what are the kind of of graph? We have bar graph, pie graph, a line graph. Do you think that we can use all of them in any situation? Do you think
Mm,
do you think they're
I'm,
all the same?
I'm not really understand like graph means.
Ah, all right. So, by the way, a line graph, it is a graph that shows. Let's start from the basics. So, thank you for sharing with me that you don't understand fully what is a line graph. So, we are going to chop up the information from the very basic. All right, so we cannot move into the complex details if we don't have the basics, right? So first, let's talk about the line graph. Okay, so a while ago, teacher is asking you. All right, I'll be drawing it to you so you get what I mean. Okay, so I'll be drawing here. All right, different kinds of graph. All right, so here. Okay. So for example, this is the what we called bar graph. Take a look at it. Maybe you're familiar to it already. Have you seen this kind of thing? So this is
Um,
called a bar graph.
oh,
Yeah. So this one is called a pie graph. All right. A pie. Why? Because in a pie graph, it shows, all right, or indicates, all right, the percentage as a whole. Have you seen this kind of graphs? All right, so this is a pie graph. And what we're going to talk about for tonight or for this afternoon, we'll focus mainly on this one, what's in the middle. All right. So actually, this one it shows. All right. So let's see. I'll be putting an information with you. So here. So in a line graph, we have two axes. All right. So the first one that we have right here, the thing that I draw something. All right. This is called the excuse me. This is called the x-axis. All right. So the x-axis, or maybe what you can imagine for you to avoid confusion, is a cross. Sorry, a cross. Okay, the x-axis. All right. And then what we have right here is this. All right. If it's upward right there, right? This one is called the y-axis. All right, y-axis or up and down, right? It's like the horizontal, right? Up and down. Okay. So now, so in this case, all right, so first let's have the definition. But by the way, I asked you a while ago if they function the same, all right? So Kim, for every graph, so they function differently. So they have a different purpose. All right. Like for example, a bar graph, it indicates or it showcase, right, a data, all right, like this one. So you can see that Like for example, in here, there's a biggest percentage, there's a lower percentage. It's just show an information. And this one, a pie graph, all right, it shows a division, all right, or a percentage of a whole. All right. For example, let's say that this is the data. Like for example, this is just an example, okay? Let's say for example 75% of Vietnamese students are studying English. All right. So um so in this case, so in the population of the whole teenagers, for example, 75% of it, all right, is studying English. So it shows, all right, it shows the division in a whole. All right. So that's the purpose of a pie graph. So on the other hand, a line graph, okay, so a line graph is very popular, all right, because it is used, all right, it is used to show how the quantity, when you say quantity, we are referring to, all right, so here, used to show how the quantity or amount, yeah, we are referring to the amount of something, all right, amount of something changes over time. All right. So here, teacher, I still don't understand. All right. So it is used to show how the quantity or amount of something changes over time. All right. So with this one, meaning another term is to track how a group or category changes over a period of time. Okay? So used to show how the quantity or amount of something changes over time. So now, let me remove the two graphs so you won't get confused. Let's erase the bar graph and the pie graph. So let's focus on our line graph. So in here, first, whenever you are doing or analyzing a line graph, what the thing that you need to consider is the data or the data. All right. So the data. So what is the data? What is your understanding about a data, Kim?
Um, it's it's like information.
Correct. Right. Exactly. So a data or a data is an information used to collect in an investigation. Let's just use the word investigation, okay? So in a certain investigation or in a certain analysis, right? So first, the first thing that you need to do, the most important thing is what are you going to do? Find and look for the data, right? So
Yes.
actually, so in here, so since you got the information already, you can now focus on analyzing a data, right? um the next thing is to be familiar with the line graph itself. All right, so the thing is, all right, the thing is, the problem with doing a line graph, some of the students overcomplicate it. Teacher, what do you mean by that? Meaning, all right, they are getting the things more difficult for them to understand, because um it's not very surprising because not everyone or not every students are dealing with the data or graphs, right? At school they don't teach this thing, right? They are teaching this one just to be familiar of what is it called, but the function or how to use it, they don't explain it briefly unless it is related to the course that you're having, right? So that's the problem. But the thing is, it says that when we talk about analyzing a line graph, first, the very first thing to do is to, all right, so analyze, all right? So understand and plan. So actually there are stages. So the first one is to understand and plan. So that is why teacher explained first what is the parts of a line graph. So in a line graph, of course, there is a title. Of course, no need to explain what is a title, right? So you're familiar with it, meaning it tells something what is it all about, right? So in here, so actually, since we are referring to here, take a look at here. It says changes over time. So meaning it is a trend, right? Maybe it's a year. Okay, for example, 1990, 1991. All right. So those are the example. And then when we are doing this thing, all right, so it says in here, don't be intimidate whenever you are analyzing on a line graph. Okay, so the first thing to do is, all right, the first thing to do is, all right, For example, it's for you to be familiar with the words to use. All right. So in here that you need to plot. All right. For example, in this one and in this one, in here, in here, and in here. Right. So this is called plotting. All right. If you are putting the information, so it's called plotting, and then you can connect them. Right. And then in every line graph, Kim, we have the what's so-called scales. This part right here on the y-axis, all right, we call that scales. All right. So what do we mean by scales? All right. So the scales, this is a part wherein it tells you, all right, it tells you the amount, all right, or the bracket, all right, on how you'll be familiar into it. Teacher, can you briefly explain? All right. So the thing is, for example, your data or the data that you've got is it will give you like the smallest and the highest details, right? For example, so if the difference, all right, so here, if the difference is a lot or it shows higher, okay, so the scales, if you're familiar, you will be see it like by fives. Teacher, what do you mean by fives? It start 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. They get what I mean, right? So if the difference is a lot, so you can use plotting like this. So it could be fives or it could be tens, all right, depending on the data that you've got, all right? So it's a lot. It could be a hundreds, all right? If it's the difference is big in quantity, all right? But of course, if the quantity or the information that you've got is very small, you can start by ones, all right? Like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. That is scales. You call this scales. All right. So always remember as well that whenever you are analyzing a certain scale, all right, you always remember that, okay, the place where the y-axis and the x-axis meet, so this is right there, okay, the y-axis and the x-axis meet, this one right here is always 0. So you won't get confused, okay? So that is always 0, the thing that right there, the bottom part. So I'll be giving a point right here, there, okay? So that is always 0. So the scales, again, it depends on the information or the data that you've got. Okay, so now we already, Kim, we already have the title. We already explained the x and the y-axis. We also tackle about the scales, all right? And then we already plotting, all right, the information, all right? For
Okay.
example, okay. So now what we have right here is the next thing that you need to do is um another thing that you need to consider is with this one. Okay. So by the way, also whenever you are doing like this, when you are plotting, please make use of using a ruler, okay, to make it look presentable. All right. So
Mhm.
I'm telling you this because if you are getting into an IELTS exam, so the examiner is different. It depends. Someone will ask you to write like some sort of a paragraph. Someone will ask you to draw. Okay, so it depends on the person who's going to give you the exam. So that is why teacher is breaking it down for you. All right. So also with this one, the thing that you need to remember is to be familiar with the words to use. Okay. So teacher,
Okay.
what do you mean by to be familiar with the words to use? So this is the time that I'm going to show you. All right. So this is first the basics. All right. So again, Kim, what do we mean by a line graph?
Mm, it's it's used to show how the quality or amount of something changes over time.
All right. So the clue here, Kim, the hint, all right, the hint word, if you are referring into a line graph, it talks about a trend, okay? Because it talks about the year, okay? So the word trend is always related in a line graph, okay? So now, so you already know what is a data. Kim, can you explain to teacher what is the meaning of scales and where is it located?
Skill skill is like uh it's like time for
This is
it's
the,
quality or amount of something.
all right. And then how can you explain this? What is the meaning of this and this?
Um, I I I can understand it, but I don't know how to say.
Can you give it a try?
It's like um, for example, 5 second is could be this, but 10 second is can be this.
All right. So how about this? For example, our information is on Monday, I eat 2 apples. On Tuesday, I ate 8 apples. On Wednesday, I eat 4 apples. All right. On Friday, I eat 10 apples. So what do you think is the appropriate scale, the small or the big scale?
Small. What can you repeat?
All right. For example, teacher, all right, teacher ate 2 apples on Monday. All right. 8 apples on Tuesday, 4 apples, all right, on Wednesday, 10 apples on Thursday, and 6 apples on Friday. So what kind of scale are you going to use? Small or the big scale?
Um, Small or big?
Yes, a small scale. And if you're going to notice, take a look at the smallest and the highest. So 2 and 10. If you're going to analyze, oh, visible by 2, right? So your scale could be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. They get what I mean?
Yes.
All right. So the thing is, the clue on scales, always have a look on the smallest and the highest. And then that will serve as your signal on how are you going to plat your scale. Is it by fives, by ones, by tens, so on and so forth. Okay? So with this, it depends on the information. All right. Meaning it always changing depending on the data or information that you've got. Now, the next thing that I'm going to ask you, Kim, is this. If I'm going to ask you, what is the difference between, take note of this. This is very, very useful. All right. So, first, let's break it down. Kim, what's your understanding? What is the difference between big changes, all right, compared to small changes? I mean, how about yeah? You can you explain first what is the difference between big changes and small changes?
Big change is like um when is when is let me think.
Mm, that is a rapid change, right? A rapid change of something. When you say small change, it's like minimal, right?
Yeah.
How about with this? How can you compare adjective versus adverb?
Sharp.
Adjective versus adverb. Let's see. What's your understanding? How do you differentiate? Because students always get confused on what is an adjective and what is an adverb. So if I'm going to ask you, what is your understanding about adjective and adverb? Mm,
Adjective is is adjective.
okay. Example?
Example is example. Well, I think so it's easy to know. So I don't know how to explain.
What is your clue? For example, on an adjective, what is your clue? Because you said it's easy. It's easy to
No,
to compare. Mm.
No, I said adjective mean is adjective. I don't know how
Ah, you
to
don't
count.
you don't know how to explain. All right, it's okay.
Oh yes.
All right, let's again. So as you see, teacher is cracking to the very simplest idea or information before I present to you the complicated ones. Okay. So first, this is the thing that you need to analyze whenever you are using a certain word when it comes to writing. Okay. So don't mind this one. I'll be explaining this later. So in here, for example, first let's compare. So as we know, the adjectives these are used to modify. That's the term. Modify, modify nouns or pronouns. Teacher, what do you mean by that? All right. So with this one, always remember that when we talk about the adjectives, if you still remember, this is used to give like some sort of how can you describe it, right? So used to modify nouns or pronouns. Okay, it answers the questions in adjectives. It answers the questions. Okay, first, what kind? All right, another how many? Hmm. Another is which one? All right. So here are uh some of the question that you may consider when you are referring into adjective. Like what kind? Is it old, new? All right. How many? All right. So which one? In this case, like for example, which one you could refer like the color, the size, the big red butterfly. All right. The small blue dragonfly, right? So in this case, it modifies a noun, which is the butterfly and the dragonfly. So it describe, right? It is a describing word. So that is an adjective. Remember, adjective modifies noun or pronoun. Like for example, Kim is smart. Okay, so it modifies you, right? That you are being described as a smart student, right? So in this case, all right, it describes a noun which is you on the other hand. Now, let's talk about adverb, all right? So if the adjective is used to modify nouns or pronouns, the adverb on the other hand, it is used, all right, used to modify, all right, to modify verbs, all right, adjectives or other adverbs. All right. All right. So what are the verbs? In English, when we say verbs, we are referring into action words, right? For example, my sister danced gracefully. All right. So my teacher speaks English, all right, um, nicely. All right. And then uh, the other clue in adverbs, all right, my students tend to have this as a clue. It always ends in ly, beautifully, gracefully. Are you getting familiar with it already? The ly. So that is the adverb used to modify verbs or the action words and then adjectives or other adverbs. Now, let's talk about how about what are the questions to answer? First, it answers the question how. Oh, sorry, adverbs. Okay. How, like as what I've said, for example, Miss Cha dances gracefully. How did Miss Cha dance? Gracefully, right? So it answers the question how. All right. The second thing, another thing is when we talk about here is when, all right, meaning we are referring into a certain specific time, all right? When and then where, when, where, and then to what extent. All right, which in this term is the one that we going to focus in here. It answers to what extent in here. All right, so here, number 4. So here are the questions to answer, or the questions to, the things to remember if you are being confused when it comes to adjectives and adverb. Now, I have a clue right here, Kim, that some of the adverbs are ending in "ly," right? Can you give it a try? What is the adverb for sharp?
Sharply,
All right, dramatic,
dramatically,
rapid,
rapidly,
abrupt,
abruptly,
significant.
significantly,
All right, precipitous,
precip can you repeat?
precipitous.
Precipitously,
All right, very easy to remember, right? Now, how about in small changes? We have steady,
steadily,
slight,
slightly,
all right, gradual,
gradually,
marginal,
marginally,
gentle.
gently.
All right, so the thing right here is, now that we were able to crack up the difference between adjective and adverb, the thing is, teacher, it's easy to remember. Because, see, adjective used to describe, the adverb, just remember it ends on "ly." Yeah, right? So, if that's your hint, okay, nice try. But the problem is the spelling, right? As what I've said, if you focus on IELTS in writing, the problem is, all right, your mastery in spelling is also a big factor. Why? What do you mean spelling, teacher? It's just end in "ly." Okay, but the problem is there are some rules to apply. Like here, in steadily, change Y to I and ILY, right?
Yeah,
Gentle, remove E and then change to Y, right? So the thing is, also the double in letters, right? So the thing is, what I want to be reminded you into it is not just into the familiarization itself, but also to be familiar with the spelling. All right. Another thing is, there these are the words that will be very beneficial as you write a line graph. Take note, Kim, okay? So remember their function: big changes and small changes. All right? Here are to use if the data or the information shows really small changes compared to showcasing a very big change. Okay, now moving into the example right here, can you read number 1? Mm. How do you read number
house,
1?
house, sorry, house price, house price, rose dramatically in July.
All right. So house prices rose dramatically in July. In this certain example, can you tell, teacher, if this is a big change or a small change?
It's good. It's big change.
A big change. All right. See? Because of dramatically, right? So in this case, see, in this case, rose is a verb. All right. This is the past tense of rise. Rise, rose, right? Mm. And then we have our adverb, okay, dramatically. See? It is applied in here, correct. Modify a verb, which is rose, okay? So here, correct. How about the next one?
The number of tourists visiting New York fell sharply in October.
Fell sharply. How about this? Is it a small change or a big change?
I think it's big change.
Big change too. In this case, it also functioned as an adverb, right? Fell from our verb, all right, and then sharply, all right there. Okay. How about number 3?
The number of students studying economics rose gradually from 2001 to 2010.
All right, 2001 to 2010. All right. How about this? Rose gradually.
Small change.
Small change, right? Okay. Next. How about the next one? There was.
Uh, oh, teacher.
Yes.
Um, I I guess number three is small change because I can see is in small change
This one.
that
Yes. Gradual.
but
This one.
yes, yes, but I yes, but I don't really understand why.
Okay. All right. First, don't worry. I'll be telling you why later. I just want you to analyze first when to use the big and small change. And then I'll be telling to you later what to use if the data is increasing and what to use if the data is, all right, is going down or going steadily. Don't worry. I'll give you everything tonight. Okay. All right. First, let's identify small and big change first. As what I've said, we're moving baby steps. Okay, because I don't want you to get confused later on. So let's first I analyze what are the appropriate adjective or adverb to use. Okay. Now we are now on here. There was a sharp increase in employee turnover after the strike. What do you think it is? What happened in here?
Oh, it's like depends on the meaning.
Yes. All right. So in here, what I am asking you with this one is you need to tell me if what did we use in this case in the sentence, like for example, rose gradually, you could say teacher, it acts as an adverb because it modifies the verb rose. Do you get what I mean? All right, so first, teacher is letting you analyze the difference between adjective and adverb. So in here, later on, I'll be explaining to you. All right, for example, in here, take a look at this, Kim. All right,
Yeah.
there was a sharp increase in employee turnover after the strike. First, can you tell me what happened in here? Is it, what did you use? Did you use adjective or adverb? A
Oh, what?
sharp, in here, what, how did it function? There was a sharp increase in employee turnover after the strike. What did you use? Adjective or adverb?
Sharp adjective.
Adjective, and it modifies the noun.
Sharply.
All right. This it modifies an increase. An increase, that is a noun,
Okay.
right? Okay. Take a look at here. Teacher, I don't understand what it means. So in here, in this case, first, what happened in here? Is it a big change or a small change?
Mm-mm.
Sharp,
Short, big change.
a big change, right? Can you make a guess? The word is increase. What happened? Go up or down?
Increase. Go increase. Go up.
Go up, right? Now you're getting a hint already. Now, how about this? Interest in environmental issues has risen steadily over the last 10 years. Hmm.
Rising steadily is what does mean, teacher?
All right, has risen. Okay, in this case, it is from the verb, or originated from the verb rise. Okay, rise meaning
It's
it
go
also,
up, up.
yes. Yes, it is going up. All right. So also, why teacher is showing you this kind of thing? All right. So teacher, what do you mean by this? All right. So now I already explained to you the difference between adjective and adverb, right? So also, if you're going to take a look on the example, teacher, why in the first one it's rose dramatically, while in the next one it's a sharp increase, and then on the other one has risen steadily. All right. So if you're going to take a look at it, you are going to analyze in your data that, all right, familiarity on the tense of the verb is also a big factor. Some of it, present progressive, all right, present perfect, right, past tense, right. So again, the use of it is also the use of the tenses is also important. So, teacher, how can I knew when to use the tenses? All right, very basic. Right here. 2001 to 2010. Is it past, present, future? That is past. That's why you use rows. You use the past simple, right? Another, interest in environmental issues has risen steadily over the last 10 years. All right. It's like it's still progressing, right? That's why we use has risen steadily. All right. So that is the case. Now that you understand what are the words, all right, the adjective or adverb that you use in big and small changes, now I'm going to show you and answer the question that you're asking a while ago. Ta-da! This is a bit complicated. All right. This is the situation, Kim, here. So this is the thing that you're asking me a while ago. So if the value is increasing, all right. So you can take a screenshot of this and you can review. But I can also send to you a certain information about it. All right, which I followed in YouTube, by the way. She's very good in explaining datas like this. So as you can see, Kim, if you are looking into it, so if you are having a situation that your data is increasing, going up, these are the correct these are the correct verb to use. So what are the correct verbs?
Increase,
Okay.
rise, grow, soar, swap,
Soar,
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 soar, skyrocket, leap, peak, reach a
or
peak,
reach a peak. Okay. So in this
reach a
case, if you're going to ask me, teacher, what do you mean by skyrocket? Why do you mean all of this means value increases? Okay.
okay,
Now,
okay,
so moving into the next thing. All right. Now, moving into the next thing, it's that whenever you are using, all right, using the verbs, okay, um, being familiar with all of this will give you a hint or will showcase your familiarity or understanding about it. Teacher, what do you mean? Why? If you use increase, rise, and grow, that is correct. You are explaining something that the value is increasing. But how about if you use starting from here until here? What's the difference? The difference starting from soar, skyrocket, lip, pick, or reach a pick, it is more advanced vocabulary. They get what I mean? If you're go-
yes,
if you're going to have a look, I think this is more advanced compared to this very familiar. I mean, it's into it. You can use it in also in different situations. But in
yes,
here, if you're going to use this kind of words, it is more high level or it is more advanced. Okay. So
harder,
so we have here soar or skyrocket. Actually, when you say a skyrocket, of course, it means a large increase, right? All right, so let's
yes,
have here skyrocket, or it means high increase. All right. So if you're going to remember this or for you not to forget, take a look at the last one. So we have here reach or pick or reach a pick. You can imagine a pick up a mountain, right? The mountain looks like this. Do you get what I mean? So a mountain,
yes,
this is the peak of the mountain. See, you can see that it's a high increase. So reach a peak or peak. So it increased. So that's the thing that you need to remember. Also, we use skyrocket, lip, or reach a peak if we are explaining something. All right, that is sudden, very sudden, or something that is unexpected. All right. For example, take a look in here. So in this, from this, reach a lowest point. going here, right? So this is, it's skyrocket. It has a very big difference. This is very sudden, all right? Unexpected. They get what I mean? So
Yes.
these verbs, all right, best apply in situations like this, right? Sudden, unexpected, all right? So now, that we clear on this one, um, another thing that you need to remember is, in this case as well, all right, if you are referring into the, like for example, you could also use, here, reach a peak, or you could say reach its highest point. Yeah, right there, reach a highest point of. Okay, so these are the verbs, the helpful words that you can use now. So again, value increase, all right, it talks about something that is going up. All right, now how about if the, all right, sorry about that. Now, how about if we are explaining something if the value is decreasing? What do we mean by decreasing or decreases?
It's going down.
Going down. All right, so now the same with the verbs in the value increases. All right, there is also, all right, appropriate words to use. And what are those? Mm.
Can you repeat?
What are the verbs to use if we are explaining value decreases? Mm.
Decrease, fall, decline, drop, reduce, dip, plunge,
All right, this
or
one is plunge, plunge,
plunge and plummet.
plummet. All right. This,
Plummet.
all right. So meaning plunge and plummet, this is the opposite of skyrocket, all right, and reach a peak,
Yes.
right? So that is the opposite. Okay. So again, the same thing. Starting from reduce and to here, they are the more advanced. Okay.
Okay.
Compare into decrease, decline, fall, and drop. Okay. So of course you don't, but take note, all right? Take note about this, Kim. How about this
Yes,
teacher? I'm explaining something, but it's not, it's not like it drops suddenly. So if that's the case, focus on here. Decrease, decline. And do you still remember? Do you still remember the adjectives and adverbs a while ago? Increase gradually, all right, decrease marginally. That's the thing. So you can add something in there from the chart that we have in big change and small change, combining the verbs that we have. All right. So now, so we have here an example. For example, in here, ooh, oh yeah. So here, decline sharply, decline significantly. So let's say we have in here the data from here, right? So that is very sudden. Okay, that is, it drop suddenly. It drop, it's plummet, it plunge right there. It's a big change, right? So that's the thing. All right. So now, how about with this one? How about the other? What is our next situation, Kim?
Its value remains stable, the same.
All right. Value remains, all right, stable or the same. Now, that's the
Yeah.
time that, all right, here. Now, I have the example already.
Oh, okay.
If the value remains stable or the same, so these are the things like hover, value changes or fluctuate. All right. So fluctuate, obsolete, vary, swing. Value stop rising and remains the same. All right. Plateau, level up, flatten out. So do you still remember when teacher told you that we use a line graph? Okay. A line graph and changes over time. In this case, in our x-axis, we are referring into the periods of time monthly. January, February, March, so on and so forth, right? Okay. So
Mhm.
in this case, what we have right here is our digits, or the amount of something that we have, is this is our data. So this is the time. That is
Yes.
why the scale is very small. All right.
Okay.
And then in here, so let's start with the first one. Can you have a look at our example?
Read it.
Yes.
The finger
The
for
the
the
figure,
fig-
figure.
figure
All right. Mm. That is for 1 p.m.
the 1 p.m. news. Yeah,
Remained.
there is stable, hovering at around one
1 point.
remain.
Remained. All right. Remained fairly stable, hovering at around 1.3 million throughout the year. So
Um,
take a look. So hovering, value remains stable and the same. You can look at the blue chart. That's what I mean. It remains stable. See? Not
yes.
so that's
Okay.
the thing, all right? Next, how about in the figure in 6 p.m.? That is the yellow one. How can you explain?
Six.
Here, 6 p.m., the yellow line.
Uh, the finger some fluctuation. Oh, I
Fluctuation.
can see it.
All right.
Fluctuation. Fluctuate. Oh, I don't know how to read it.
All right.
Widely throughout years. Yeah, but the general trends were downward and is and the year at around 3.4 million.
3.4 million. So in here again, so value changes frequently. That is the yellow line. See, it's like a zigzag. It changes frequently. All right. So these are the appropriate verbs: fluctuate, obsolete, vary, or swing. How about if the situation is like this? All right. So in here, okay. So how about with this, Kim? The value stop rising and remains the same. Mm. Can you read it for me? The number of people.
Uh, the number of people who visited the Natural History Museum oscillated throughout the summer, reaching a plateau or plateau at the beginning of July, then gradually dropped through August.
All right. So that's the situation. Excuse me. So in here, the value stop rising and remains the same. So in here, the number of people who visited the Natural History Museum, that is the blue line. Here we have here the legend, or what does it mean? The data, or in every color. So in here it says that um throughout the summer, it's reaching a plateau, or plateaued at the beginning of July. See? Okay. And then gradually drop in August. All right. And then drop through August. Okay. So in here. So again, if you could still remember, as what I've said a while ago, all right, it's always the changes
Yes,
over time. So that is why always remember that your x-axis stands for the changes, and the scales, or the information of something, is on your y-axis. All right? And of course, this is your title. Okay. And then another. All right? The next one right here is the number of homeless people in London remained steady between 2010 and 2013.
okay.
Here, the red line, right? So this was followed by a marginal increase from 500 to 500 to 1000 before 2015, right there. From 2015 onward, the figure for the homeless population in London leveled off or flattened out, meaning stop rising. See? It stopped rising. It's just a straight line, right? It stays the same. Okay? That's why in this certain example, it used leveled off or flattened out. Do you get what I mean?
Not really.
Not really. Okay, so here, let's divide it one by one. So the number of homeless people in London remained steady, all right, between 2010 and 2013. Steady, meaning it's not moving dramatically, right? It's like it's steady. And then this was followed by a marginal increase. See, there's an increase right there, Kim. Marginal increase. Can you see it? Marginal increase
Mm.
from 500 to 1000, all right, before 2015. So there's an increase, marginal increase. So meaning marginal, small change. Remember? A small meaning a small
Okay.
increase. And then it says in here, the figure for the homeless population in London leveled off or flattened out, meaning it remains the same. It's
Right.
stuck in
Okay.
1000. All right?
Oh,
Okay. So that is why teacher if you could see, teacher, it looks a very complicated, but if you're going to analyze it or chop the information, we can analyze it, right? They get what I mean? So that's the advantage if you are analyzing it
yes.
starting from the basic. Be familiar what is the line graph, what's the meaning, all right? When do we use when do we put, all right, the changes over time? When do we put the data or the data? Okay, all right, or the, like for this, in this case it's the number of people, and in here the x-axis is the years. Okay, now there is another situation. Now, as what I've said, changes over a period of time. All right, changes over a period of time, right? So in this case, we have here the downward trend. It's like decreasing, and then upward trend. All right, meaning information is going up. In this case, we are not particularly focused on a certain, we are not particularly focused on a certain data. It's just like, like how can I say this? It's like your observation, like in technology, right? For example, you could say um the users of the users of um of black and white TV, all right, show a downward trend, all right, in, for example, in 2005. All right, why? Because for example, you can explain that that's the time when the colored TVs are exposed, right? Or like for example, the use of smartphone shown an upward trend. All right, see, so you can use it like some, this word are very beneficial when you are just explaining a certain change in a trend, comparing on a year, right? For example, comparing the technology, as what I've said a while ago. So how can you compare like the cell phone before compared to the smartphone that we have right now? So that is a trend, right? The changes in technology, right? We don't have a certain information or a data, but you can use this certain situations or this helpful phrases. Show an upward trend, show an upward trajectory. Okay. So these are some example. Exports showed a downward trend through a 10-year period, meaning in this information, all right, it's fluctuating. It's going down. All right. The number of cards sold showed a rapid downward trend in 2009. All right. So meaning the number of cards that is being sold, meaning the cards are not getting popular starting from 2009 because it showed a rapid downward trend. Do you get it? All right. So also
Okay.
in here, social pursuits like watching TV and spending time with the family have shown an upward trend. All right, in recent years. Upward. All right. With regards to hamburgers consumption has showed a steady upward trajectory from 10 times eaten per year to over 70 times. Okay. So again, so in this case, this you can use this if you don't have a certain data like this. You don't have the number of people, so on and so forth. If you are just telling a certain trend, you can use this phrases. Okay. Now,
Okay.
the thing that we have here is this. So now, based on the things that I've explained, in your understanding, so what are the things that you need to remember? Hmm. If we are looking into a line graph, so what are the things that you consider based on your understanding? Like for example, do you think it's possible for you to understand a line graph if you don't know what is it? So let's have a summary and the do's and don'ts. So we can proceed if we still have time. We can proceed on the activity from your from the book. So we have the do's and the don'ts. How about you? What do you think? Hmm. In your understanding.
Those remember it's like struck or
Okay. Mm. Meaning
mm,
you need to be very familiar with.
what
Mm.
I can understand.
All right. So what are let's first I'll be explaining it to you. The do's. All right. I want you to agree. All right. I'll be writing it in here and then you need to explain what does it mean. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll be typing first. All right. From this basic one that I have, can you explain the meaning? One, two, three, four.
Uh, one what I do not really understand, but two is keep your grammar in mind is um remember the grammar. Uh, number three is practice your grammar um, is do it every day. Do grammar every day and increase similes and vocabulary is um study more simile like same work and new work.
All right, so that is correct. So in here, how about with this? What do you mean by in here? Increase your synonyms and vocabulary. What do you mean by synonyms?
It's like it's like a group of word have the same meaning.
Correct. Okay, do you still remember the chart that I've showed you a while ago? Um, increase, rise, grow, skyrocket. So those are synonyms, meaning you are into being familiar with the words with the same meaning because it's a bit weird if you are keep using the word increase. There's a lot of words to use, right? So that's the thing. So analyze your charts well. which is a good thing. I like that you are being honest with me when you tell me that you have zero idea about the line graph. Of course, you need to first analyze the chart. What does it mean? What's this? What's that? So the thing is, if you don't have zero idea on the topic itself, it would be hard for you, right? That is why you need to be familiar, right? Very easy. Y axis, X axis, the scale, the title, right? So you need to be familiar with the basics first. Analyze, be familiar, okay? Now, keep your grammar in mind. Do you still remember, as what I've said a while ago, that your understanding in grammar is a big factor in writing or explaining the data or the data in a line graph, because you are using, there are instances, have you seen a while ago, we use rose gradually, has risen marginally, right? So the tenses depends on the information that you have. It could be in the present, it could be on the past, in the future, all right? So that's the thing. So you should also be familiar with that. And in this case, increase your synonyms and vocabulary, as what I've said. Um, if you remember a while ago, I explained to you that there are some words to use that are more advanced. All right, in that case, you can earn a point, right? If you use skyrocketed compared to increase, using skyrocketed is a big impact already, meaning you have a wide vocabulary. You know what does it mean, right? Do you get what I
Yeah.
mean? All right, okay.
Yes.
So thank you. Now, how about the don'ts? So teacher is going to write the things that you need to avoid, or the don'ts. All right. So the first thing that you need to avoid, even though there's a time, all right, so I'll be typing it first. So here, okay, start writing. Right, okay. How about this, Kim? Start writing the essay immediately. Why do you think we shouldn't do it?
Immediately. Let me.
It's like start writing the essay immediately. It's like right now. Upon seeing it, you start writing already. Immediately. ASAP.
Mm,
It's like as soon as possible. Immediately.
oh,
Mm. Why? Why we don't shouldn't start writing? Because of course, the misconception, if you are doing IELTS writing, the problem is there's time. Teacher, what about? There's a time in there. What do you want me to do? I waste my time in analyzing a line graph. No. The thing is, it would be hard for you to construct an essay if you don't analyze it. So give it a try, give it a shot, right? Remember, that's why I told you a while ago, be familiar with the helpful adjective and helpful adverbs, and when to use big change, when to use small change, as well as the verbs to use in increase, decrease, all right? No changes, right? So that's the thing. You need to analyze it first. So in this one, it contradicts in number 1, all right? And then
okay.
reuse the same words for changes. It contradicts, it's just the opposite, or it explained in here. All right? And number 4, because again, there are a lot of vocabulary to use. Don't stuck in using only one adverb,
Mhm.
only one verb. All right, they get what I mean?
Okay.
All right, and then in here, use the incorrect tense, which is it explains number 2 and number 3. All right, Roy, how was it? Is it hard? All right,
Um,
okay.
it's okay.
It's okay. All right. So see, how about now? Have you got any idea already? I mean, you can at least have an idea. Compare last time. A bit easier, right? A bit easier because actually I'll be showing to you the and as what I've said to you, I'll be showing to you the original, all right, the original PowerPoints that explain this one. Um the thing is I cannot play it throughout our meeting because the problem is it is a 41-minute explanation. Okay? So don't worry, I'll be sending you the link, all right, so you can review.
Mhm.
All right, and in that case you can see the example, and it also explain when do we use the noun, when do we use the verb, okay, and what is
Okay.
to use, or it explains, all right, the very specific. Okay, what I've shown you is just general, all right, it's like an overview. Okay, now also before I forgot, all right, because I keep on looking down because honestly I prepared this until last week. All right, I keep on writing so I won't forget anything. All right, so in this case, another thing is the use of prepositions, right? So prepositions are also very beneficial in writing in an essay in a certain explanation like this. All right. So teacher, what do you mean by that? All right. So what are the prepositions? It's a lot, right? Preposition of time, preposition of place, so on and so forth. But in here, I'll be showing with you what I meant, all right? Or I'll be giving you a clue. All right, now I have in here. Okay. And also here, there are some uh in here like there are some preposition that you need to remember, like we use by, all right, if we are explaining an amount of change. Like for example, um students in Vietnam studying English increase by 5%. Amount of change increase by 5%. Do you get what I mean? So we use by if we are referring into an amount of change. All right. Another. Next one is off. It's like somehow similar with by, but in here, off is always followed by a percentage or a number, as what I've said, synonymous with by, percentage or number. Um, there is an increase uh of 100 students, all right, that is being for example, increase of 100, all right, for the students who are watching K drama, for example, increase of, always increase of, decrease of, always followed by a percentage or a number. Oh, sorry, it's a typo right here. Okay, or a number. Okay, right there. So next is two. Two is used, all right, in explaining what is increasing or what is decreasing. Okay, so again, so these are just some of the keywords to remember. But as what I've said, whenever you are whenever you are whenever you are using this thing, all right, the more detailed explanation I'll be showing it to you later on, wherein I'm going to send to you the link. All right, and also if you are describing, all right, if you are describing a noun, some of the helpful verbs that you can use are saw, like showed, mm, experience. All right. So these are some helpful verbs that you can use whenever you are explaining a specific of time. All right. All right. Of course, the thing right here is if you're going to see so showed experience, in this case, the data that I've got is in what tense? What is the tense of the data that I have? Saw, showed, experience. Meaning the data that I'm holding is from, is it present, past, future? Hmm. Kim.
Yes.
What tense? Saw, showed, experience. In what tense are we? Past, present, future.
Past.
Past. Okay, so of
Past.
course, you're just going to change them depending on the tense that you will use. If you are going to use present, sees, shows, experiences. It's up to you to change it depending on the tense that is appropriate to your data. Okay? So now
Mm.
the thing is another thing to consider. There is another word that you can use if you are showing. All right. So in this case, some helpful words to remember is if you are explaining some future changes. For example, you are analyzing data from 2022. All right. And right now it's 2023, meaning you don't know exactly what will happen. For example, right now, let's say that you are having a certain information in 2023 and you're going to expect a future change in 2024. So, what are the verbs that we use? So, in this case, it will be very helpful. Like you can use the helpful verbs like is projected, okay,
Clean.
or forecasted to. Okay, it's like you are expecting something and some future changes in 2024. Okay,
Mm.
so
Oh,
is projected, forecasted to. Okay, now, so in this case, so we have, all right, so we have here, please give me a minute. All right, so I'll be opening our what we have on our book. All right, so here. All right. So let's open your. All right. Sorry, I forgot to open it. Let's open what you've got on the example. Okay. So right there. Okay. Hmm. We still have. Kim, can you see my screen?
yes.
Okay, we still have few minutes. All right. So in this one, I want you to analyze the line graph that we have in here. All right. So I'll be giving you minutes to
Okay.
analyze. All right. And teacher is just going to the restroom for a bit. I'm just going to pee. All right. So in here, excuse me. In this case, you are going to, by the way, in this case, we have choices. All right. You just need to match. All right. So you need to analyze the line graph that we have. All right. And then you need to match. All right. Match the sentence habs. All right. Or you're going to complete it, continue in column B. All right. So
Number.
I'll be giving you a few minutes first to analyze. I'm just going to the restroom. Would that be okay? All right. Give me a second. Please analyze. I'm just going to the comfort room.
Like week I was to read in
Sorry.
like,
Sorry. What did you say, Kim?
I
Hmm.
said I done it.
I. You
I
answered
do
it.
it.
You do it. All right. Okay.
Yes, I
So
do it.
all right. So please give me, please, would it be okay? Please give me at least 2 minutes. I just going to pee. All right. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Please excuse me.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Kim. I'm back. Are you ready now?
Yes. Oh,
All right. Please read and answer.
number one is from 2005 to 2010.
Okay. It increased from 10% to 40%.
Yes.
In this case, Kim, if you see that it's here, when you say 25, it will be like read as in this case. So in this case, you could simply say 2005. All right. If it's a
Okay.
single number on the last digit, don't chop it in the middle. All right, so you could say 2005, but in this case, in 2010 or 2010, we have two digits, so you can chop it in the middle. But again, if it's single, all right, don't chop it because it might shown as like this. Okay. All right, but
Okay.
anyway, number one, you are correct. It increased from 10% to 40%.
It's between
Mm,
20 and 10 and 20 and 15.
Okay. It decreased by, all right, 15% here, right there.
Yes.
Correct. Between 2010 and 2015. All right. Now, how about in number three?
Number three is in 20 and
Mm,
13.
20.
30.
All right, 2030. It will finish on 65% in 2030. All right. Or there will be a rise. How about this? There will be a rise.
It's between 2020 and 2025.
Okay, it's 2020 and 2025. That is correct. There will be a rise of 55%. See, 2020 and all right. Oh, what can you use there in there?
Uh,
What is the
uh,
other verb?
what?
Skyrocketed, right? Skyrocketed, right? An increase. All
Yes,
right, skyrocketed.
skyrocket.
Okay. Mm. How about number five? The last one, of course.
Between 2015 and 2020.
All right, 2015 and 2020. There you go. Or for more detailed, it's like after it increased from 30%, all right, 30% in 2005 to 55% in 2010, all right, line B went up by another 20% between 2010 and 2015. This was its highest point, right? 2015 to all right. So it says it started to decrease in 2015, all right, going down to 40% in 2020. It will
Mhm.
rise to 50% in 2025 and then will fall to 45% in 2030. All right, so that is the answer. Actually, this is from example from the book. Okay, so that is the
Okay.
explanation that they've got. But anyway, what we've got on the book is very, very simple, right? Compared to what we've got on the example. See, have you seen the difference? And here, increase, decrease, will finish, will be a rise. Okay, went down. So in this, these are very light or very understandable, right? Very light words to comprehensible words. Okay, so another thing is this. How about this?
After uh can I read it now?
Yes,
After it increases from 30% in 20 to
2000,
100
2000.
2000
Mm,
2005
correct.
to uh, fif- uh 55% to 2010. Libby rise up by another 20% between 2010 and 2015. This score is highest point. It started to decrease in 2015, going down to 14% in 2020. It will went to 15% in 2025 and then will fall to 45% in 2030.
Okay. All right. Very good. So see, so if you go as what I've said, this is the case where it matches the things to remember or the don'ts, right? That the tense of the verb is a big factor. So here, will plus the verb, right, or the original verb, will rise, will fall, all right, so on and so forth. Very good. So in this case, this was its highest point. So again, in this case, we are referring into the peak. The peak are the changes on that certain graph. Okay. Now, how about in this case? In exercise 6, what do you think is the best summary for this one on the diagram that we have?
Um, I don't know. I am sorry. I'm not sure, but I think it's number one. Both lines went up and down a lot.
Okay. Line A changed much more than line B. All right. So in this case, all right, to be honest, the correct word on that is this one, the second one. Can you read it for
Okay.
me?
The biggest change for line A will happen in the last 10 years of the graph. Between 10, 20 and 20, between 2020 and 2030. However, line B had its own most important change
Changes.
earlier
All right.
changes earlier in the graph between 2005 and 2015.
All right. Okay. So that is the summary of that one. All right. So in this case as well, so actually the thing that we've got, as what I've said, these are just the lighter ones because of course I don't expect immediately like, teacher, what do you expect from me? Are you expecting me to use all the things that you said a while ago, the marginally, gradually? No. The thing is, I'm just showing to you for future benefits, all right? So in times that you need to review that, you're going to remember, oh, I've learned this from Miss Cha. We already explained this. What are the appropriate? Why? Because um as what I've said a while ago, when we focus on the synonyms, right? As you know, synonyms are the words with the same meaning. But the problem is when you are referring into it, the thing is, it's hard to explain. Do you still remember when you got a homework about collocations? Do you still remember that?
Yes.
Right? So the thing is, what makes it complicated in English, even though that you know that it has the same meaning, there are some also the things such as collocation that we need to consider. Meaning, even though the word has the same meaning, but it doesn't combine correctly as collocation, it will it will appear inappropriate, right? So that's the thing. So that is why paraphrasing, how about paraphrasing? What is your understanding about it in English? When you say paraphrasing, Kim, what do we mean by that?
Oh, is that
Mm.
paraphrasing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand.
All right. So when you say paraphrasing, actually it's like synonymous with when you say synonyms. Why? Huh? What do you mean by that, teacher? All right. So it is because when we say paraphrasing, okay, it is an act, all right, okay, that we are expressing, this is the meaning, expressing 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 differently, all right, expressing differently so that it means the same thing, all right, or we could say that another thing is it's stating it in in stating it in with a different word. Okay, a different word so that it means the same thing.
Okay.
Okay, it's like you are just changing, right? Like increase, you can use grow. Decrease, or you can say went down. Do you get what I mean? So you are
Yes.
paraphrasing. You are changing the word, but the thing is, the meaning stays the same. So that is
Um,
paraphrasing. All right.
okay.
Okay. So actually, the link that I'm going to give you are some of the helpful helpful channels, all right, that you can have as a reference when you are studying writing, speaking, any any aspect that you want to focus on. I'm following two major IELTS trainers in YouTube, all right? And you can have like a hobby if you have a free time, like how
Oh,
do we paraphrase. You can spend time for at least um one video a day in any of the two channels that I'm telling you. So in that way, it can help you to improve your vocabulary and strengthen your comprehension. Okay, but I am very glad that at least from zero that you don't understand a line graph, now you are confident already that you have the knowledge about it, correct?
yes.
Okay. So by the way, Kim, sadly the more I want to continue, but time's up already and I have another appointed class, so I cannot extend. So I'm sorry about that. But anyway, I am very honored that you allowed me to have a compensation class due to some complications in our schedule. So thank you for allowing me to give a compensation class. All right. So again, for your homework, Kim, all you have to do is, all right, so to give me a summary, this is very easy. You could just rewatch the video. Give a summary of what is a line graph, meaning the definition. What are the do's and don'ts? All right, the do's and don'ts, and continue answering from Unit 10, page 3. All right, going down, or the entire pages that is in here. 3, 4. Okay. So we have another interesting topic for next meeting. We are going to talk about weather. Okay, Kim, Roy.
Okay.
All right. So again, so thank you for joining our compensation class for this evening. That will be all. Tambiet and have a good night. Goodbye,
Thank
Kim.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Have a good night.